Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name's Kiana, and in this video I'm gonna do a pregnancy update for you guys. I know it's been some time since I have posted a video. I've been tired really, and just not having the motivation or really the energy to edit a video. Not so much to film, and that was the problem. I have like 2 videos queued up, but just getting around to editing them the past 2-3 weeks has been so dead. So sorry that this video is so late, but I'm probably gonna do weeks 4, 5, 6, and 7 for pregnancy, so stay tuned to hear how I've been doing. Okay, so y'all have already been filled in on how I found out and what possessed me to take a test, if I'm not mistaken. Watch my last video and you'll see like me finding out, and then yeah. Anyway, so at 4 weeks, pretty much the symptoms, I got everything written down. The symptoms I was experiencing during week 4 were cramps, nausea, sore boobs, oh my gosh, which have yet to relieve, and then like a little bit of fatigue, but like not nearly what it was going to be and what it is. So I'm gonna share it because I have it written down, but at that point the baby was like the size of a poppy seed, and this was week 4 for me, was May 4th to May 10th or like 11th or something like that. So day 1 of week 4, that was the first time I got a positive. I was having cramping on and off, sore boobs, a little bit of fatigue, that was it. Day 2, cramping, feeling overheated pretty easily, sweating way more than usual. I have been doing like the Couch to 4K app prior to me finding out, so I don't know. I just documented that. I don't really know that it was particularly relevant to this, but I had documented that just so that I could remember. Like, I was working out prior to. So yeah, to wrap up day 2, I was having some cramping, a little bit of constipation, and sore boobs still. Day 3 of week 4, I was feeling like some mild to intense cramping. It was like causing me to like have to pause. Like, it was actually like, it would either be really mild and like, oh okay, a little cramping here and there, or it will be like, ooh this hurts. Like, I would literally have to stop until it passed. Boobs still tender, still sore. And I was fatigued. Like, I was needing a nap by like lunchtime, which I usually don't get to take naps, or even, I don't know if I'd even be wanting naps. So, you know, that was new to me, feeling like by lunchtime I needed to go to sleep, and wanting to go to bed early on day 3. I felt basically like my normal PMS self. I didn't really feel anything like magical. I could kind of say still I feel that same way. Like, I don't feel like, I feel different. Like, I notice that things are different, but I don't feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like it's just like myself, but a little bit of different things. So day 3 of week 4, that's when I took my second test. I've only taken 2. That's when I took my second test, and that's when I got another positive. And to wrap up day 3 symptoms, I had gas, cramping, sore boobs, and fatigue. Moving on, day 4, I felt like I was a little bit more irritable than I was like any of the other days, but it wasn't too much. Like, I just noticed I would have like a little bit less patience at my job and like at home. Mainly at my job though. I felt a little bit constipated. I would have the urge to go, but then like it wouldn't come out or anything. And I was having a little bit of lower back pain, like on the top right side, like right above my butt. It was like hurting really bad there. So I documented that I had a backache, constipation, tender boobs. Mind you, you're gonna hear that a lot, tender boobs. And then some cramping. Moving on, day 5, I was definitely a little bit more irritable. That was pretty consistent, same as day 4. Like, I had a shorter fuse. I wasn't really snappy, but I could just feel myself like inside getting irritated and like having to be like, okay girl, just calm down. I was definitely still fatigued. I could like accomplish my to-do list, but I would notice like, man, after the to-do list is done, like I'm completely wiped out, like that kind of thing. And that was pretty consistent and been pretty consistent since then. I noticed I was a little less bloated that day 5 of week 4, and minor cramping. But the cramping that I did have, it was in a different place than I feel like I've ever felt it before. It was like lower. It wasn't like behind my pelvic bone per se. It was like lower than that. And I feel like I had never felt that before. So that was a new feeling for me. Still feeling constipated. I wasn't really having any relief after I would get everything out. Not even everything. After I would poop, then I didn't feel relieved after. Like, I felt like I should probably still go, but there was nothing else to come out, or that would come out. So wrapping up day 5, I was feeling constipated, cramping, fatigue, sore boobs, and I wrote cravings, but I hadn't really like delved into that. If I'm not mistaken though, it was probably hot flamings, because I've been craving those like off and on, even prior to me finding out. Just like back in April, I was like craving hot flamings out of nowhere. It was random. And that's been like off and on ever since. Day 6, I noticed I had decreased appetite. I was feeling nauseous. I was having cramps in that lower area like that I just described from day 5. And otherwise, everything was normal. And day 7 is going to be the same as this. But so wrapping up the symptoms, I was feeling cramps, sore boobs, and decreased appetite. And what else did I say? I said nausea too. Minor nausea, like nothing too crazy. And like I said, day 7 was the same as day 6. But it was just like more cramping, more fatigue. So we're going to move on to week 5. This was May 11th to like May 17th or something like that. Day 1, my symptoms were constipation, fatigue, bloating, increased discharge, and sore boobs. After the morning, like adrenaline was gone, I guess. I was mad fatigued. I was feeling pretty normal. I didn't really have any sore boobs unless I ran or tried to do something fast, that kind of thing. Not really having no cramping day 1 of week 5. I was very bloated, and I seemed like after I would poop, then my stomach would go down a little bit, but I noticed the bloating. Had a really big cramp that had me like hunched over, and a little bit of increased discharge, like I said. Moving on, day 2, I had some discharge, some nausea, and some fatigue. So the nausea was due to like car rides, and the smell of smoke and overeating made me nauseous. Fatigue was just constant throughout the day, like nothing major. Day 3, fatigue, increased appetite, cramping. So I was definitely eating more and drinking less water, which I should have been doing. Not the opposite, but I should have just been drinking more water before my meal so that I don't overeat. Yeah, and I was getting a sensation that my period was gonna come. It's kind of feeling like a pulling sensation inside, like internally. I was feeling like a pull or something in my pelvic area. No blood, and it was almost like a cramp, if I could describe it, but just kind of felt like a pulling sensation. Like any ladies, like the feeling you get maybe the day before or the day your period is gonna come, and you kind of feel like it's coming on, but then it doesn't. Day 4, I had some spotting. I had a very vivid dream that night. I had a dream that I was having like a miscarriage or something, and it had me really panicky. So when I woke up from the dream, I had like light pink spotting, and that was the first time I had any spotting. It did not continue. It was just like that one time I noticed it, and I'll say more later, but I don't think I've experienced that again since. Anyway, day 5, I had cramps, sore boobs, fatigue, and I said appetite. It was an increased appetite. Okay, so I had a few intense cramps day 5 of week 5, and I was experiencing like shortness of breath And that was weird because I was experiencing shortness of breath like really early on. Maybe it was the work I was doing. Maybe it was just the increase in hormones and my body was just responding to it a funky way. But yeah, I'm having shortness of breath, as you can see, since like 5 weeks. Anyway, yeah, that was basically it for that day. Day 6, I took a 15 to 20 mile bike ride. This must have been like a Saturday or something. I remember this though, and I was so tired. I'm pretty sure it was more than 20 miles actually, but I put 15 to 20 miles. I was very fatigued, and my boobs were like super sore that day. That's all I can remember. Anyway, day 7, I had a headache, sore throat, minor sore throat, not COVID, just so you know. Sore throat and sore boobs, and I felt really full, like, so anyway, I was very sore from the bike ride the day before. My boobs were like very sore, like so sore. And then I had a headache that really lingered all day, and I felt really full in the abdomen and like pretty uncomfortable. I guess when I'm saying full, I felt almost like I overate, but I hadn't overeaten, so I don't know what it was. Overall, I had overall in week 5, I had fatigue, sore boobs, feeling very stuffed and whatnot after my meals. Like it was very easy for me to overeat, and that's probably because I wasn't drinking enough water. Anyway, I was having random bouts of nausea, but it didn't last like all day or anything like that. It would just be like off and on. I'm nauseous here and there. Moving on to week 6. This was like May 18th to the 24th, so like the week before and the week of my birthday, that kind of stuff. So day 1 of week 6, nausea and sore boobs. Like I was nauseous when I was bending over, especially like with smells and stuff. So I'm thinking I was talking about like at work and stuff. So I said like nauseous when bending over, especially after wiping poop. It could have been either the smell or the bending over or both. I would sit down and let my stomach settle, and then when I would stand up, the nausea would come right back. I was trying really hard not to overeat that week, and my boobs were like really sore. Day 2, I had sore boobs still, and my nipples were like really tender. I was nauseous, and the mask did not help at my job. Like at my job, I have to wear a mask all day, and I was so like woo with that mask on, but I had to keep it on. Anyway, I was nauseous all morning and afternoon. It didn't really go away until I got home from work that day. Day 3, I had tender boobs, nausea, and feeling full in my belly area. I said I was nauseous in the morning and during or after eating. Like sometimes while I was eating, like the thought of me eating would make me nauseous, and then after I would eat, I would feel nauseous, but it was weird. Anyway, I felt bloated and like full in my abdomen again, and my pants were like really uncomfortable and too tight on my stomach. And I couldn't tolerate lukewarm water. Like I was so disgusted by the thought of lukewarm water and the taste of it, like, and which is weird because pre-pregnancy I typically only drink lukewarm water. Like I don't like my water to be extremely cold because I can't even drink it that fast. And ever since week 6, I really hadn't been rocking with lukewarm water anymore. So that was a change that I noticed like pretty early on. Like, wow, you know, my taste buds and everything are already changing. So that was it for day 3. Day 4, I put nausea and fatigue. I was nauseous in the morning and when I had the different triggers, so bending over, different smells, having anything tight on my belly, those things would make me nauseous. And the smells that would make me nauseous were the smells of like smoke. So like at my job, one of the locations I had to go to, one of the people there smoked cigarettes, and the smell would make me so nauseous. And even through my mask, I would smell it. It was so strong that if I walked out of the location with my mask still on, I could still smell the cigarettes. It was disgusting. Anyway, so that would just drive me crazy. And then the pants that I was wearing at my job, like I usually wear them over my stomach, but I would just have to pull them down, like under my belly. If you got a flat stomach, it don't matter, you could do that. But when you got rolls that you're trying to hide, then it's like, dang, I look better when I got my pants pulled up. But I had to put them under my belly, and I'm just gonna have to have some love handles because it was so tight on my stomach, and that would make me nauseous. Anyway, brushing my teeth, in the back of my tongue, water, air. I said anything, water, air, my toothbrush, etc. Anything touching the back of my tongue, all of that would make me nauseous. So if I'm drinking water and it gets to the back of my throat, I'm like, ugh. If the wind is blowing too fast and it touched the back of my throat, I was like, ooh. And then if my toothbrush or anything like that touched the back of my throat, it would make me nauseous. So I was hella sensitive that day. And that was week 6, so that's when the nausea began, for real. And it kind of lasted. You'll hear how long it lasted in a future video. And then I was fatigued in the afternoon. So yeah, it was really a week this week. This is when stuff was like, oh, okay, so I'm pregnant for real. Like, my life is really changing. Like, I'm really being different now. Day 5, I had tender boobs and like spotting after intimacy. And I had like very small blood clots. Day 6, tender boobs, nausea, fatigue. I had minimal bouts of nausea, and it was mainly when I was triggered. I've already mentioned the triggers, the smells, and all of that stuff. And then I had fatigue. So we rode our bikes and we went hiking that day. So it could have just been from that, but I really think the pregnancy was affecting me too, because I was like mad tired or slumped. Even like doing those actions, like riding a bike was cool, but going to the hike afterwards, it's not like I couldn't do it. Like I could. It was just like, wow, I'm kind of tired doing this. And then tender boobs. Day 7 was my birthday. I ain't document anything, so I don't really remember what I was feeling like that day. Probably same stuff. Sore boobs, nausea a little bit of fatigue, that kind of stuff. Overall though, week 6, I had nausea when triggered especially, but it started to taper by the end of the week. So probably about my birthday, maybe I didn't experience no nausea, but it was like more intense at the beginning of week 6 and then less intense towards the end of week 6. And then it was pretty predictable. Like I wouldn't just be nauseous randomly. Whereas in the beginning of the week, it was like, man, I feel nauseous for no reason. Like, doing stupid stuff make me nauseous. But then, by the end of the week, it was like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Like, when I'm doing these things, this makes me nauseous. Or when I'm around this stuff, this makes me nauseous. It wasn't like, I didn't know when it would come on or that kind of stuff. So I said it was predictable, and it wasn't just all day or random. I took 2 other like notes for the overall of this week. Like I said, I had sensitivities to smell, especially smoke. So like bonfires, the smell of cigarettes, the smell of cigars, the smell of the barbecue grill, and I have not recovered. Like, I still hate the smell of all of these things. Yeah, excuse me, sorry, I burped. But yeah, the smell of all of those things, really, like, I hate it still to this very day. And but I have a huge sensitivity to the smell of smoke now, and like, it doesn't really make me nauseous, but I'm just like, ugh, this stinks. So yeah, I don't like when people be smoking around me or smelling like smoke. Not that I like that anyway. I've always hated the smell of cigarette smoke, but it's just like, it bothered me so much more this week than it ever bothered me in my entire life. And I've been around plenty of people that smoke cigarettes. Not regularly, but like, I've been around it and been able to at least tolerate it. I was just like, ugh, this stink. But this week I was just like, if I could throw up, I would. So Yeah, the smell of tobacco, grills, bonfires, all of that. And I like to bonfire. Like, we like to do stuff like that. I could not rock with it. So I had sensitivities at my job and when I was at home and like being in the neighborhood. Just stuff I would come by casually. It's just like, ooh, this really reeks. And then I also documented that I had stopped taking my prenatal vitamin this week during week 6. So previously, sorry, somebody was walking past, it distracted me. Previously, I had got a prenatal vitamin prescription from my doctor, and it worked great for me. I had been taking that prenatal for like months prior to me even, conceiving or whatever. And it was just because I was taking it as a multivitamin. So anyway, by week 6, it's a chewable. It was a chewable not multivitamin. It was a chewable prenatal, and it was kind of like chalky, if I could describe it. But typically, it didn't bother me all of the other months I had been taking it, because I guess I was just used to it. It wasn't really that bad. It was like an orange flavor, and I really hate orange flavor stuff. But I endured it. Anyway, by the time week 6 came around, I'm like, I cannot chew this no more. I'm not trying to taste this. And it was funny. I would like put it in my mouth and like be able to, like, I would either put it in my mouth and be able to chew it up immediately, or I would put it in my mouth and just put it like on the side and just be like having a hard time chewing it. Or if I did chew it, I would have like the hardest time swallowing it. So I would have to like chew it, sit on the side, get some water, and then like force myself to swallow it all at once. So by week 6, I couldn't do it no more. I stopped taking that prenatal, and you'll see, fast forward to week 9, I didn't take it from 6 weeks to 9 weeks because I couldn't. It made me nauseous. It literally made me nauseous. And one thing I will say, I've been blessed this whole time. I have not vomited or nothing. I've still had what they call morning sickness, because nausea is considered a part of morning sickness. It's not just vomiting, but I haven't vomited this whole time, but I really could not with the prenatal vitamin no more. So at some point I did switch over to gummies, and you guys will hear more about that probably next week, or I'm gonna put out a video next week. It just was hard to do this one, like just sit down and take the time to do it. It's not like I wasn't thinking about it. I kept thinking about it. It was so hard to muster up the energy. Like, after I leave my job, I literally don't be trying to do nothing else. Like, I had to put myself on a routine to even like do laundry and like make sure regular stuff is getting done. So the extra stuff I really didn't have the time for. I know this video is kind of long. Hopefully that don't bother y'all. Hopefully y'all stick around and watch the whole thing. And I'm not even gonna say that, but if not, next week I'll probably do 7, 8, and 9. It's funny, I was gonna do a week by week update, but I'm so far behind at this point. I'll literally be doing this until the baby been 6 months. Like, that's so dramatic, but that's how it feels. So y'all, technically today is what? I don't even know what the date is. It's July 20 something. Excuse me, it's probably like the 24th or something like that. I don't know. 24th. Today is July 25th. I'm officially 15 weeks and like 5 days or something. So on Monday I will be 16 weeks. I'm already in the 2nd trimester now, guys. So yes, things are moving along pretty quickly. I do have a baby bump. I'm trying to catch up slowly but surely. Anyway, I love you guys. Come back for another video next week. Like I always say, turn on your notifications, hit the notification bell so you know when I post another video, because like I said a few videos back, I'm probably not gonna do Tuesdays much longer, and I haven't really decided what day I'm going to do. The goal is just to get it out within the week. I am gonna decide on a new day. I have not decided just yet, so you need to turn on your notifications so you do not miss when I post another video. I love you guys. I thank you all for the support. everybody who's reached out, checked on me and everything like that, and already been so kind in the past 11 weeks or whatever since, you know, we've known and stuff like that. Like, it's really been great so far. It's been a smooth ride so far, and I'm really just grateful. So I'm excited. I look forward to sharing this journey with you guys, and I love you. Peace out.